there are hacks in any organization, and certainly the state-owned media has it. But then there are people within Xinhua who have professional ethical standards and try within the very difficult circumstances to do journalism and not just propaganda. I mean, yeah, you ain't going to find it in People's Daily, and Xinhua is a huge and weird organization. No, so there are many, like, you see stuff coming across the wire where you're like, what the heck is this? There's like, so go and work in these SOEs, find a good job that gives you an apartment, and keep some of the stuff you learned here, and you'll find ways to use it. You can apply the stuff that you're learning here within the Chinese system. There's room for it. It's tough. But not everybody is the one doing, Wen Jiabao today said how wonderful China is stories, right? So, these are, Xinhua has like thousands of people, and like, I think they themselves don't know what they're doing sometimes.
I used to work for Xinhua News Agency.
So do you call yourself a journalist?
Yes, of course. I worked there actually for about 9 years, a little bit less than 9 years before I went to Australia for my PhD study. Xinhua is really big, and when I was there, I think 10 years ago, it was about maybe that we had more than 10,000 people working. Yeah, this is really giant organization. Whether you call it real news organization or not, I think it's a kind of a mixture. We do produce some news, good news stories too, and of course now I cannot say we anymore because I don't belong to Xinhua anymore. And Xinhua does produce propaganda because it's state-owned and it's state media organization, it's state, or we say national news organization, and it has the responsibility to, to convey what the government is trying to convey to the public, and we call it all. It's a kind of, we want to let the government policies understood by the public, and we also need to have the public voice heard by the government so that improvements can be made, that sort of things. It's a kind of a mixture. You cannot say it's completely propaganda. It do produce good news too, and we really have good journalists there. Of course, we don't have this, how can we say, the rights or something that you journalists in the United States have. We really we have more difficulties. Sometimes we have to deal with difficult situations. When we do have stories we want to publish as a journalist, and we will be told, you'd better not to publish maybe now, maybe we can do that later. But anyway, I think this organization, the news organization actually is doing a lot more now. And as you said, some of you here said, the spokesman for the General Counsel here in Hong Kong from the US, the news agency, is doing a lot, and now it has got a new TV station. Yeah, so it's actually competing with CCTV. You say CCTV is a completely propaganda machine. So Xinhua actually is trying to do something different.
Okay, thank you. We've got your. Thank you for giving us another perspective, and I think the Dean would like to add something on that.
Obviously, the students want to hear more from the Pulitzer winners, so I promise to shut up after this. I also worked for Xinhua News Agency, and I also worked for People's Daily. And I called myself a journalist, and I took pride in it at the time. Today, I may or may not, but that is not the issue. That's the point. Reading American history, there was a time that there was yellow journalism, there were partisan journalism. They called themselves journalists. We would not call them journalists today in today's environment. Again, that's not the point. Out of them, professional journalism grow. And there was something good about Xinhua News Agency. These were the best people individually. In 1989, you might remember a slogan, "Don't make us lie." So again, the name is not important. What we are going to do, and I would not discourage anybody to work for the Xinhua News Agency and People's Daily or any other organizations because that there are differences we can make. And maybe that's the best place to make differences. These are very good people. For instance, fact-checking is no less rigorous. They might not report a certain fact, but very rarely in the old traditional Xinhua or People's Daily tradition, very, very rarely, after 1978, very, very rarely factual errors were allowed, and which was not true in the online commentary, hand style, and so on and so forth. So in the future, government control sooner or later will go. What's important for us is what is going to replace the government control. And it is our ethical professional standard. And the Xinhua News Agency people can help, People's Daily people can help, and all of us can help, regardless whether or not we call ourselves journalism or not.